Cardi, first off, congrats. Album already certified platinum. Critics are loving it.
No one is talking about this the way they should. And that's why we're here. Cardi B has just shaken the internet once again, this time opening up about her new album, her role as a mother, taking accountability for her mistakes, and yes, addressing those infamous Bia disses head-on. But wait until you hear exactly what she had to say, because it's not only raw, it's unapologetically Cardi. Before we break it all down, stay tuned and watch the clip to see what's really going on.
Cardi, first off, congrats. Album already certified platinum. Critics are loving it. Social media is loving it. I mean, people keep talking about it, which is a good thing. So with all of that success, has anything turned up, slowed down? Any good things, any bad things, any, I don't want to say drama, but any drama or the positive feedback that you've been receiving?
Well, the positivity has been amazing, like better than I expected, because it's like, I knew that I was going to do numbers because the album is so anticipated, but the feedback is amazing. And yes, there is a lot of drama coming, but I already kind of knew it was going to come. But I just want to remind, bitches started with me. So, and I always say this, I entertain when I feel like it. I feel like bitches started with me and they know exactly when to start with me. They start when they know that they know when I'm like, not out as much. They know when I'm a little bit quiet, and I feel like to them, they feel like I was like a easy target. And it's like I'm not a target, and I'm not easy neither. And I let them think that they had it. But just remember who started with who.
Would you say it's easier to air out any grievances in music?
Kind of not really, because most of the time when I get upset at the moment, and I want to argue at the moment, or I want to talk at the moment. I'm not necessarily in the studio when I'm upset or when I'm happy or whatever. So when I go to the studio, it's like, I kind of like don't care about the moment anymore. So, you know what I'm saying? You're not mad every day. So,
that is very true. And I mean, you also aired your side out. Just, you recognize the things that you've done as well in your album. Like, not many people can take accountability, and you've done that amazingly. How did that feel to do that?
Well, the accountability that I took is like different accountability, because clearly that doesn't make you like you was doing some other shit, but like the accountability that I took is like, like I could have been giving things more of my time, like more vacations, more understanding, less arguing, less like, I gotta focus on my work, I gotta focus on my job, and like I'm gonna take time to do this and that with you more and more and more. But I was more focused on my job, and then it's like job, kids, and then it's like putting somebody on a back burner. But it's like that still don't give you the right to do what you do.
I mean, and speaking of kids, congrats on baby number 4. How have you overall been feeling?
You know what? I feel very strong. I feel very powerful. Like the only time that I don't feel good is like when I'm sleeping, because I constantly wake up with heartburn or like almost throwing up, or like at the end of the day, my body really do be hurting. Like my back hurt, my feet hurt, but it's like I wake up and I shake it off and I feel strong. I feel good. I'm going.
Is this the last? Are we looking at a baby number 5? What's that looking like?
One day, maybe not. I can't even think about baby number 5, honey. I can't even think about it. I just, like, trust me, I want to give birth now.
Now, do you know what you're having? Have we thought about any names?
I do know what I'm having, but I do not have a name yet. Kind of do, kind of don't.
Okay. And now, what does success from this album look like for you?
It's looking like what it's looking like right now. Like, it's like, okay, the numbers are good, but people are receiving it and people are loving it. Like, it's like, it would be really bad if you do like good numbers, but mad people saying like it's trash or it's bad. Like, I like the fact that people are loving it. I mean, you shouldn't let people determine your art or like care about people's opinion. But then again, it's like, it's a good feeling when people just like, you just love your food.
And last but not least, is Cardi B, like it says, the drama?
I mean, you've been seeing how this week is. Clearly, I'm the drama. I'm the promo. I'm the the rollout. I'm the everything. Like, it's like, you brought, like, okay, like, there has been some, like, unexpected drama. And it's like, but you know what? I kind of figure, because this is always what happens when, like, I hit the scene. Even when I'm not in the scene, I hit the scene. Even when I'm not dropping music, it's like a little bit of drama. But when I drop music, you're gonna see them come out all the time. So clearly, I am the drama. Like, I bring it.
Absolutely, and we all love it. The fans all love it. Thank you so much. Can we get a quick, of course, shout out to Hollywood Unlocked?
I want to say shout out to Hollywood Unlocked, shout out to Jason Lee, and shout out to the birthday girl. Let's hit it for the big Libra girl.
Itself is already being hailed by fans as the album of the year. Social media has been in a frenzy, with users flooding Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok with reactions. The energy is undeniable. Cardi has delivered a body of work that feels both personal and explosive. But with that kind of attention comes controversy. And once again, the Bronx rapper finds herself at the center of a storm. One of the biggest talking points? Cardi's statement, "Clearly I'm the drama, but beaches started with me, let's not forget." With that line alone, she reignited a firestorm around her relationship with fellow rapper Bia. Fans immediately began dissecting the lyrics, the interviews, and the subtle shots fired across social media. The question remains, who really started this war of words? Cardi insists she only clapped back because Bia came for her first. In her words, it wasn't about being petty, it was about defending herself. To Cardi, it's simple. Don't come for her unless you're ready for the smoke. And with her latest project, she's proving that she can handle the backlash while still making music that dominates the charts. But this isn't just about a diss track or a single feud. Cardi also took time to reflect on her own journey, her growth as a woman, an artist, and most importantly, a mother. She admitted that balancing motherhood with the chaos of fame hasn't been easy, but she's committed to showing her kids what accountability and resilience look like. For her, this album isn't just a collection of songs. It's a statement of who she is right now, flaws and all. Fans are eating it up. Across platforms, people are praising Cardi for her authenticity, saying she's giving them music that feels real and unfiltered. Some even say this project might go down as one of her defining works, a moment where she proved that she could both own her mistakes and still stand tall against critics. And let's not forget, the disses, the drama, and the headlines are only part of the story. Cardi's openness about taking accountability is what has really set this rollout apart. She's not hiding behind excuses. She's telling the world, yes, I did it. Yes, I said it. But here's why. And whether you love her or hate her, that level of transparency is rare in the music industry. Meanwhile, fans are dragging Bia across the internet, saying her attempt to spark beef backfired spectacularly. Some argue that Bia's name wouldn't even be in headlines right now if it weren't for Cardi mentioning her. Others believe this is exactly what Bia wanted: clout, attention, and relevancy. And of course, that only adds fuel to the fire. But the million-dollar question is, does this drama help Cardi or hurt her? On one hand, it keeps her name in everyone's mouth, guaranteeing streams and sales. On the other, it risks overshadowing the deeper messages in her album about growth, motherhood, and accountability. The feud between Cardi B and Bia isn't something that popped up overnight. It's been simmering, quietly building, until it finally exploded into the public eye. The internet loves to act shocked when two women in hip-hop trade shots, but fans who've been paying attention know this was brewing for a while. And when Cardi decided to address it in the rollout for her new album, the entire timeline went nuclear. So let's rewind. Bia has thrown shade in subtle ways before: cryptic tweets, Instagram captions, and interviews where she questioned Cardi's authenticity. To casual fans, these might have flown under the radar. But Cardi has always been hyper-aware of what's being said about her, and when she decided to speak, she left no room for interpretation. That's when Cardi dropped the now viral line, "Clearly I'm the drama, but beaches started with me, let's not forget." Those words weren't just lyrics. They were a declaration. And in true Cardi fashion, she backed it up with more than just bars. She reminded everyone that she doesn't start fights, but she will always finish them. Almost instantly, Bia fired back on social media. Screenshots began circulating, fan pages posted side-by-side comparisons of lyrics, and stan accounts went to war. Hashtags like Toss Team Cardi and Toss Team Bia started trending, with fans dissecting every single post for hidden meanings. But here's the twist. While Bia's responses were sharp, Cardi's clapbacks hit harder. Why? Because Cardi combined her natural charisma with cold, hard facts. She reminded Bia and the world that she didn't go looking for this fight. In her eyes, she was targeted, provoked, and pushed into defending herself. And that's where the fandom split in two. On one side, you had people saying Cardi should have ignored the noise, stayed above the drama, and let her music speak for itself. On the other, you had fans cheering her on, saying they loved the unfiltered, unapologetic version of Cardi who refuses to be silent when disrespected. But it wasn't just about Cardi and Bia anymore. The internet began dragging in other names. Rappers who've worked with both women, industry insiders, and even fans of completely unrelated artists. Suddenly, this feud had become bigger than music. It was about ego, loyalty, and power in the female rap game. To make things even messier, old interviews resurfaced where Bia hinted at not needing cosigns to prove her worth. Fans twisted those comments into thinly veiled shots at Cardi, accusing Bia of trying to discredit her rise in the industry. And if there's one thing we know about Cardi, it's that she's fiercely protective of her legacy. But here's the emotional core of it all. Cardi tied this feud back to her own personal growth. She admitted in her album rollout that she's not perfect, that she sometimes reacts impulsively, but she also emphasized that her accountability doesn't make her weak, it makes her human. By addressing Bia directly, she was showing fans that she's done playing the game of silence and subliminals. Meanwhile, fans of other rap queens started chiming in, comparing this feud to past beefs in hip-hop. Some even called it the modern-day Remy versus Nicki, while others argued it was nothing more than manufactured drama to sell records. But no matter what you believe, one thing is undeniable. People are watching, listening, and streaming. And just when fans thought the back and forth was over, Cardi hinted in an IG Live that she has receipts she hasn't even shared yet. That little tease alone sent shockwaves through Twitter, with thousands of users speculating what kind of evidence Cardi could possibly be holding on to. Behind all the headlines, the clapbacks, and the fiery lyrics, there's another side of Cardi B that people don't always see. The mother, the caretaker, the woman who wakes up every day not just thinking about her music, but about her children. And in this latest album era, Cardi has been unapologetic about letting the world know that her identity as a mom is just as important as her identity as an artist. When Cardi spoke about motherhood in her recent interviews, fans could feel the raw honesty. She admitted that raising kids while being in the spotlight isn't easy. There are days when she's exhausted, torn between rehearsals, studio sessions, and simply wanting to be home to tuck her babies into bed. Yet, she emphasized, those sacrifices are what fuel her drive. She doesn't just want success for herself, she wants to create a life for her children that she never had. And this is where the story gets powerful. Cardi opened up about the guilt she sometimes feels, guilt that every working parent can relate to. She confessed that she worries about missing milestones, about not always being present. But then she reminded herself and her fans that she's doing it all for them. That balance, that tug-of-war between personal life and career, is one of the reasons fans say her music hits so hard. It comes from a real place. Now, let's connect this back to the drama with Bia. When Cardi said, "Clearly I'm the drama, but BT Cheese started with me," it wasn't just a jab. It was a reflection of her dual roles. On one hand, she's a mother trying to live peacefully. On the other, she's an artist who refuses to let anyone disrespect her legacy. Cardi wanted the world to see that you can be nurturing and protective at the same time, protective of your family, your art, and your name. And fans noticed this shift. Twitter exploded with comments like, "This is mature Cardi, we love to see it." And "Motherhood has changed her, she's more grounded but still fiery." That's the duality that makes her stand out. She's relatable, but she's also untouchable. But here's where the emotional depth gets even deeper. Cardi admitted that motherhood has forced her to take accountability. She said that in the past, she might have jumped into drama head first without thinking about the consequences. But now, with little ones looking up to her, she knows she has to lead by example. Does that mean she'll stop clapping back? Absolutely not. But it does mean she chooses her battles more wisely. Still, not everyone is buying it. Critics argue that Cardi uses motherhood as a shield when convenient, stepping into the family woman role to soften her image while still thriving off controversy. It's a harsh take, but one that keeps the conversation heated. Because at the end of the day, Cardi isn't afraid to embrace contradictions. She doesn't fit neatly into a box, and that's exactly why people can't stop watching her. And then there's the question of her children's future. Cardi has mentioned multiple times that she's hyper-aware of what the internet says. She doesn't want her kids growing up reading lies, shade, or disrespect about their mother. That protective instinct adds another layer to her fight with Bia. It's not just about music or ego. It's about defending the foundation she's building for her family. Now, let's talk about the heart of this storm, the music. Because beyond the headlines, beyond the clapbacks, and beyond the chaos of Twitter beefs, Cardi B has delivered a project that fans are calling nothing short of a cultural reset. Yes, her new album has not only shaken up the charts, but it's also ignited debates about whether this could be the album of the year. From the moment the first track dropped, fans knew this wasn't just another Cardi project. The energy was different. The production was sharper. The lyrics, unapologetic, raw, and cutting. She opened up about her personal struggles, her triumphs, and of course threw in a few carefully aimed darts at her rivals. And when she shouted, "Clearly I'm the drama," listeners knew exactly who and what she was talking about. But here's the twist. The album isn't just a diss record, it's layered. Cardi mixed vulnerability with ferocity, motherhood with superstardom, and accountability with defiance. That's why fans are replaying it nonstop. Each track offers something new, something different. A glimpse into a woman who refuses to be one-dimensional. And the numbers don't lie. Within hours of its release, the album skyrocketed up the charts. Songs dominated iTunes, Spotify, and Apple Music. Clips from the album went viral on TikTok, turning into challenges, memes, and endless debates. The cultural impact was instant, and suddenly, everyone, from casual listeners to hardcore barbs and Barty gang, was talking about it. Of course, with great success comes great controversy. While many fans praised the album as groundbreaking, critics argued that Cardi leaned too heavily on drama and disses to sell her music. They claimed it was more spectacle than substance. But here's where the debate gets juicy. Fans clapped back by saying this is Cardi's substance. The drama, the honesty, the messiness, that's her art. She doesn't hide behind metaphors or subtle shots. She puts it all on the table. And that's why so many listeners are connecting with it. Because in an era where artists often play it safe, Cardi is willing to risk it all, say it all, and let the chips fall where they may. That boldness is what has fans calling the album a masterpiece. Now let's not ignore the elephant in the room, Bia. The diss heard around the world has sparked endless speculation. Did Cardi really need to mention her? Was it worth reigniting another feud? Cardi's answer? Absolutely. In her words, "Let's not forget who started with me." For Cardi, the diss wasn't about pettiness. It was about setting the record straight, about reminding people that she didn't pick these battles. But she sure as hell wasn't going to back down from them either. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why fans are saying this isn't just an album. It's a statement. A statement about resilience, growth, and dominance. Whether you love her or hate her, you can't deny the impact. And maybe, just maybe, that's why fans are already declaring it the album of the year. Because it's not just music, it's a cultural moment. But here's where the tension builds even more. If Cardi has set the bar this high, what does that mean for her rivals? What does that mean for Bia, for Nicki, for anyone who dares to step in the ring with her? Will this album go down in history as the one that solidified Cardi as the queen of the rap game? Or will it be remembered as the project that sparked the next big war in hip-hop? As the dust begins to settle, one thing is undeniable. Cardi B has once again made the world stop and pay attention. Love her or hate her, you cannot ignore her. With this new album, her fiery responses to Bia, and her unapologetic attitude toward motherhood and accountability, Cardi has cemented herself as one of the most talked about artists in the game. But let's pause here and ask the real question. Is Cardi truly the drama? Or is she simply the mirror reflecting the drama back at those who start with her? Because if you really think about it, Cardi doesn't move in silence. She doesn't ignore shots thrown her way. She doesn't let people rewrite the narrative. Instead, she speaks, she raps, she posts, and in doing so, she controls the story. And fans are eating it up. Social media is flooded with reactions, some praising Cardi for being fearless, others criticizing her for being too messy. But whether you're cheering her on or rolling your eyes, you're still talking about her. That's the kind of power most artists can only dream of. What makes this chapter in Cardi's career so fascinating is that she isn't shying away from accountability. She's not trying to play the victim. Instead, she's owning her choices, her words, and even her messiness. "Clearly, I'm the drama," she admitted. And in that moment, she did something that few celebrities are brave enough to do. She leaned into the label, flipped it on its head, and made it her brand. That level of self-awareness is rare, and it's why this album feels so personal, so authentic, and so undeniably Cardi. It's not just music, it's therapy. It's her truth. And whether you like it or not, she's not asking for permission to tell it. Now, let's not forget the fans who are calling this the album of the year. That's a huge claim, and it's not without weight. From the numbers to the cultural impact, Cardi's latest release has already carved out its place in music history. But the bigger story here is the cultural conversation it has reignited. What does it mean to be a female rapper in a world that thrives on pitting women against each other? Because make no mistake, while this album is about Cardi's journey, it's also about survival in an industry that thrives on drama, competition, and spectacle. Cardi's ability to rise above it, not by staying quiet but by speaking louder, might just be her greatest weapon. And here's the cliffhanger, folks. What comes next? Will Cardi's rivals answer back with music of their own? Will Bia drop a diss track? Will Nicki Minaj respond with her own project? Or will this be the moment that solidifies Cardi's reign, making her not just a contender, but the queen who set the standard for everyone else? One thing is for sure, Cardi has made her point clear. She's not here to play nice, she's not here to be silent, she's here to be the drama. And as long as the world keeps watching, she'll keep giving them something to talk about. So now, I turn the question to you. Do you believe Cardi's new album is the album of the year? Do you think she's right to call out Bia? Or is she stirring the pot, just for the sake of it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because one thing is certain, this conversation is far from over. And with that, we wrap up today's explosive breakdown. Stay tuned, because if Cardi's proven anything, it's that the drama never sleeps.